Are casinos controlling when you win? The truth about slot paybacks. The casino tightened the machines. Nobody wins anymore. They turned the slots off this weekend. If you spent any time in casinos, you've probably heard comments like these. And honestly, I understand why people feel that way. But sometimes when I hear these theories, I picture casino executives gathering in a secret underground bunker somewhere. A giant red button on the wall. A dramatic announcement. Attention everybody, it's Saturday. Push the make everybody lose button. As funny as that sounds, a lot of players genuinely believe casinos are deciding when people win and lose. Today I want to talk about why so many players feel that way and why I think the real explanation is something completely different. Because in my opinion, two major things are happening. First, modern slots have become much more volatile. Number two, and the definition of jackpots changed in 2026. So let's talk about it. One of the most common beliefs in gambling is that casinos can decide when players win. They paid too much yesterday. They tightened everything for the weekend. They saw too many jackpots and turned the machines down. Now, casinos absolutely choose which games they buy and which approved payback settings they install. But that's very different from deciding whether you win on your next spin. Modern slot machines use random number generators, or RNGs. Inside every modern slot machine is something called a random number generator, or RNG. Think of it like the brain of the machine. The RNG is constantly cycling through thousands or even millions of possible number combinations every second, even when nobody is playing. The moment you press the spin button, the machine grabs the number it's on at that exact instant. That number is then mapped to the virtual reels inside the machine. The reels you see on the screen are really just a visual representation of the result the RNG already selected. So when people say, that machine is due, or it was about to hit, that's not really how it works. Each spin is independent. The machine doesn't remember that you lost 5 spins in a row, and it doesn't owe you a bonus because someone else just walked away. The result is determined the instant you press spin, not because of timing, luck streaks, or a machine getting hot or cold. Now, here's where I think players are actually on to something. Many of us remember older slot machines feeling different. You got more line hits, more frequent wins, more regular entertainment. Sessions often lasted longer. And today, many modern games can feel absolutely brutal. You can go a long time without much happening. And naturally, players think the casino tightened the machine. But I don't think that's necessarily what changed. I think the bigger story is volatility. And volatility is something most casino players never hear discussed. Here's the most important thing in this entire video. 2 slot machines can have exactly the same payback percentage and feel completely different. So imagine 2 games, both return 92% over the long run. Game A gives a lot of small wins, frequent entertainment, regular bonus rounds. Game B gives fewer meaningful wins, but offers giant jackpots. Same 92% payback, completely different experience. Now let's use a real world example. Think about the classic double diamond slot machine. Many traditional double diamond style type games have a maximum jackpot around 800 times your bet. So if you're betting $5 a spin, the top prize might be around $4,000. Back then, the machine wasn't trying to pay off your mortgage. It was mostly trying to keep you entertained long enough to make it to dinner. Now let's compare that to Dragon Link. At a $5 bet, a $10,000 grand jackpot is nearly 2,000 times your bet. And that's just the starting grand. Many Dragon Link's grands climb higher and higher. Even they have those $1 million grands. So ask yourself, if one game's biggest prize at 800 times your bet and another game's prize starts at 2,000 times your bet, where does that money come from? The answer is simple. It has to be built into the math. And that often means longer dry spells, less frequent meaningful wins, bigger losing streaks, more volatility. Dragon Link is basically the slot machine version of that friend who says, trust me, this is a great idea. And 5 minutes later, you're wondering how you got talked into it. Modern manufacturers have discovered that players love giant jackpots. 5,000x times win, 10,000x times win, life-changing bonuses. Now the trade-off, more strikeouts between home runs. That's why many modern slot machines feel tougher. The money isn't necessarily gone. It's simply concentrated into fewer, larger events. The casino doesn't need to flip a switch. The math is already built into the game. Let's look at the actual numbers. According to the Nevada Gaming Control Board data for the 12 months ending April 2026, average statewide slot payback was approximately 92.9%. Penny slots averaged roughly 91.1%. Dollar slots averaged roughly 93.7%. Now, before anyone says, see, they're taking all the money, let's remember something. Casinos are businesses. They're not secretly operating a charitable nonprofit organization. They do, in fact, plan on keeping some of the money. These percentages represent averages across millions and millions of spins. They don't predict what will happen during a session. You could lose your bankroll. You could double your money. You could even hit a jackpot. That's the nature of gambling. Now let's talk about something that I think has dramatically changed player perception. I hear this all the time. Nobody hits Handpays anymore. You walk around the casino floor, nobody's getting a jackpot. And honestly, I understand why people think that. For decades, jackpots of $1,200 or more triggered tax paperwork and Handpays. But starting in 2026, that threshold increased to $2,000. That means thousands of wins between $1,200 and $1,999 that used to create Handpays no longer do. So when you walk through a casino today, you see fewer attendants, you hear fewer celebrations, you see fewer tax forms, you see fewer people gathered around machines. It's kind of like saying nobody drives anymore because you saw fewer gas stations on your last road trip. The activity may still be happening, you're just noticing it less. Some jackpots didn't disappear. They're simply being classified differently. And then there's social media. Every day we see $10,000 jackpots, $25,000 jackpots, $100,000 jackpots. What we don't see are the thousands of losing sessions that happen before and after those wins. As creators, we naturally share exciting moments. But nobody uploads a video titled, "I lost for 4 hours and went home." Although if someone did, YouTube would probably bury it next to a documentary about paint drying. So social media gives us a highlight reel, not reality. So are casinos controlling when players win? I don't believe that's what's happening. Can casinos choose different approved payback settings when they install games? Absolutely. But I think what many players are experiencing is something different. We're seeing higher volatility, bigger top-end jackpots, longer losing streaks, more concentrated payouts, fewer visible Handpays because of the new $2,000 threshold. Put all this together and it absolutely feels like slots don't pay like they used to. And in some ways, the experience really is different. But different doesn't automatically mean rigged. The next time someone says, "The casino turned the machines off," ask yourself this. Did they really? Did they? Or are today's games simply designed differently than they were 10 years ago? Because honestly, I have a hard time believing there's a casino employee somewhere where job description says, "Bob, it's Saturday, push the make everybody lose button." They have the advantage. They know they're going to get their money one way or the other. They're not pushing the button determining when you're going to win and lose. But hey, if anyone actually has found the secret casino control room with the giant red "No Jackpot Today's" button, I'd love to see the pictures. What do you think? What do you really think? Have slot machines changed? Do you think volatility is a big factor, or do you think something else is going on? Let me know in the comments. Hit the like, subscribe, and follow along. Good luck, gamble responsibly, and I'll see you in the next video.